Bros, what is going on? Back here with another review episode. I'm Buc Bro Ryan. I'm joined by my panel, Buc Bros, John, Bryce, and Zach. Guys, how are we doing this Monday night after another win?
Hey, broadcasters. Yeah, was an interesting game to say the least. Offense looked pretty bad, but the defense came out amazing. Win's a win. Beat the Saints. That's always great. 2-0 the division, 6-2 overall going to the bye. Like we said before, I think any of us would have taken 6-2 going into the bye as kind of like this is like pie in this. Well, hey, no, I guess it's pie in the sky, but if we could hope for an outcome, 6-2 sounded like the best one, and we got there. So feels good knowing that you got a 2-game lead in the South going into a bye, and hopefully the players can get healthy.
Yeah, this is the kind of game, we were raised watching this kind of Bucs game. The offense is kind of sputtering, doing everything they can to lose it, and the defense just drags them across the finish line. Vintage Bucs in a sense, fitting for the 50th season to give us one of these games. But yeah, I mean, it's 6-2. There's no complaints really from as far as their positioning in the league. Obviously, we can get into some of the specifics, what things we'd like to see improve, but overall, it's a victory Monday, and life's good.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing a lot of complaining yesterday for a team that 6-2 going into the bye, especially with the number of players that we're missing, key players at that. So I think we'll get a little bit of rest. We'll get healthy and we'll come out of the other side of this and we'll feel a little bit better. The second half of our schedule is much easier. We have one, maybe two challenging games through the remainder of the season. We've essentially got the division locked up, so we know we're getting a home playoff game. So we can focus on getting some guys back and getting steady, and that's what we need to do to round out this season.
Yeah, agreed. 6-2 into the bye is going to be. We take that any time of day. I think I saw 6-2. The only teams in Bucs history to do that: 79, 02, 2020, and 2021. So that's a good company of Bucs teams to be with. And I like how you said it was one we grew up with, because definitely marks the game for me, which was I was back in the old days of late 90s, early 2000s, because I kept wanting to see the defense in this game rather than the offense play, and that hasn't happened for a while. So let's jump into the game review, guys, and that's going to be our first point. It was all defense for us, and for a 23-3 victory, very comfortable, but not something that inspires a lot of hope. At least the defense was tenacious. 4 turnovers, I want to say. AWJ back in 2023 form. They looked great. So kudos to the defense and Todd Bowles for having a game plan that weren't worried about the Saints, but stifled them nonetheless. 3 points is no slouch any given Sunday.
Yeah, that was the best defensive performance of the season by far. And it is much needed because, as we'll get to in a bit, the offense was slacking very much so. So it was great to see, how aggressive the defense was. They were making plays all over the field. Started on the first drive when Anthony Nelson stripped the ball from Spencer Rattler as he was trying to run away. Then he had the play of the game, in my opinion, with the, after we got stuffed on down there at the 1 yard line on like 5 tries of runs right up the middle. Next drive for the Saints, Spencer Rattler rolls out and throws it right. Anthony Nelson, using all 6'7" of his frame, jumps up there, grabs that ball, one hand interception, other hand stiff arms Spencer Rattler to the ground. And walks right over him into the end zone to put us up 7-0, and kind of, all the momentum that the Saints had gained from that goal line stand evaporated at that time. Yeah, it was fun watching that defense. I was with you, Ryan. I was much more looking forward to seeing the defense play because I knew we would be aggressive and there'd be some playmaking happening, in the game, as opposed to what we were accustomed to last season, which is please offense get the ball. Because it's, I don't want the defense to put the hands in their games. I think it's good to we have some reliance on the defense now to say, okay, there were some early struggles there in the first couple games. But it seems like they're finding their footing. I think the pass rush has had 15 sacks over the last 3 games. They're on pace for like 53 sacks in the season, which would be the second most in franchise history. So, yeah, they're playing well. And, obviously, hopefully they can continue that hot streak after the bye week as well. We'll need to because we've got some tough opponents coming up.
Yeah, it was a good bounce back overall from the week prior. The one of the keys to the game, because everybody watched the preview, obviously they would know it was to rattle Spencer Rattler. I would say forcing a man out of his job is definitely qualifies as rattling him. We knew that was, he was susceptible to that, and I'm glad that we were able to evoke that from him because he played terribly. We harassed him constantly. He gave us the ball a lot, and it forced him to put in a rookie from Louisville. So that tells you we did our job for sure. And yeah, Anthony Nelson, game of his career, I imagine. That's got to be
Has to be.
quite a
Yeah.
feeling. And I could watch that pick six on a loop of him just. To be 6'7" is awesome. I bet, and to have Spencer Rattler just walk up to you and attempt to tackle, and you just get to lean into him and knock his ass right over, must have been a great feeling. He walked in the end zone with definitely some strength there. So great performance by him. Defense did what we needed. I'd like to play the Saints a few more times if we could find a way to get that.
We get one more. We get one more time.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
There's a great alternate angle of that from some like influencer that was like in the front row, and she's right there on the goal line, and it looks even more disgusting as he just like steps over him. I'll get it so we can post it. It's a great view of Nelson, and he's a guy who's been playing with us for a while. To see him finally get a good game like that was a lot of fun. Especially we lost Hassan Reddick last week after losing Kalijah Cansey a couple weeks ago. And so to see the defense step up and start making huge plays and look very dominant, that is something that we're going to need. That's something I think we've been lacking is not a strong defense, but an explosive defense. Somebody that can turn a game around. And they won that game. The defense won that game pretty handedly by themselves, which is nice to see.
I think AWJ
Go ahead.
is loving playing in New Orleans. I'm pretty sure it was his first game last year where he got the fumble recovery back. He did it
Yep.
pretty much again. If you want to call, we'll get into the reffing, but if you want to call a game, he pretty much did that again this game. He was all over the place. So it was really good to see, one of your superstars playing at their high caliber level. He's got to enjoy playing the Saints. He must mark those on his calendar.
Yeah, I this is a game where it's a division opponent, but they're a bad team, and you wanted, we talked about in the preview, like you wanted to put, you wanted to come out and just give them zero hope they had a chance in this game, and the defense basically shut that down instantly. I think they had one drive in the second half that was across the 50. It was a dominant performance by the defense, one we haven't seen in weeks, or I haven't seen in a while. So it was nice to see all the playmakers kind of making the play. And I think Bowles is, his defenses thrive on blitzes, creating chaos, which then leads to turnovers, and you're seeing that now, right? That's coming to fruition. I think we're already up to 7 interceptions, which ties the total amount we had last season. So, and we have 9 games to go. Jamel Dean is playing out of his mind right now. He had that strip fumble that should have led to AWJ's first touchdown. There's an argument that on his interception he wasn't touchdown either and could have had a second touchdown on the day. But again, we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, amazing performance by the defense. Hats off.
Cutting Jamel Dean's pay, I think, is the best offseason move or front office move that was made. It's insane. He is a completely different player, or he's the player he was briefly at the beginning of his career. It's like all come back to him. Hungry dog runs faster, I guess. He's like electric out there. The secondary, their play has been really nice to see. Him, Parrish. I saw it's Benjamin. Is it Morrison?
Morrison.
Yeah.
He was making plays out there. I thought the secondary had a great game. Helps that the
Keith
pass
Smith has been playing excellent football as
Very
well.
good.
Yep. We draft well.
I love Parrish too. Yeah, Parrish is great.
And even Savasier Dennis made a play or two.
Even him.
Yeah, even Servassier had a couple. I think he had a sack, didn't he? Yeah.
He had a sack.
Yeah, I think he did.
Tackle, right? With the fumble. Was he in on that?
That's
tackle?
right.
I mean,
Well, he was involved in that first tackle.
he's gonna play better when the defensive line is getting home, which was the thing. We were creating pressure. We were making him scramble. So that, I mean, he needs that in order to thrive. He's not a playmaker on his own. So in those situations, he's gonna look better.
Well, I will give that he was part of the tackle that kind of what you said, Bryce, set the tone on the defensive side and shut them out. Really good to see that happen. Let's flip it now to something that's a little more concerning. One of the keys to the game, we wanted the offense to start with the ball, to start fast. It was the defense that helped us get there. Offense, not starting fast, and you got to start thinking now, after a couple of games where they had 9 points against the Lions, and they really couldn't get anything going. One touchdown accounted for, yes, 3 field goals, but 7 out of 8 stops from the 1 yard line. Is this something that you're concerned is going to be persistent going after the bye? Like, how are we gauging our feelings for Baker and company? Because Baker's looked a little bad the last couple weeks.
Oh, I figured this would be John's chance to defend Baker.
I was waiting
for John.
Go ahead and plead Baker's case, please.
I mean, Baker Mayfield has been having a hard time lately, and that's obvious. He has been dealing with a terrible offensive line that has looked very porous, and we have had players grading as the lowest offensive lineman in the league for the past 2 weeks. We have Tristan Wirfs, and that's great, but otherwise it's a patchwork line, and we're not getting anywhere. And so those guys aren't blocking. We don't have a dynamic running back to establish the play action with right now, and we're missing our receivers 1, 2. Emeka Ibuka isn't playing at 100%, and there's really nobody behind him other than the 2 Johnsons who did look good, but are they're in no way star receivers. So when you're missing that many players, I don't want to put it 100% on Baker, but he does. He's trying to do too much right now. He knows he can escape the pocket. He knows he can move around a lot, and I think he's too much in his head. He needs some clear, comfortable throws, and he needs to know he's got time in the pocket, which is just not what he's had the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I would agree that I think the injuries have finally caught up to the offense. So this bye week couldn't have come faster or at a better time for this team. Not having your starting right guard, your starting right tackle has obviously impacted the offensive line play. And even Wirfs didn't have a great game yesterday. 2 false starts. Chase Young was able to get around him pretty. It was abnormal to see Wirfs play as poorly as he did, and poorly being like average, So the offensive line has not played well the last 2 games, which has led to Baker being antsy. I also think Baker's hurt. He's not letting you know, but you can tell that he's not 100% either. And not having Bucky Irving, I think, has really impacted the running game to kind of relieve some of the pressure off of Baker. There's a couple runs I saw yesterday where Rashad gets to the hole, but he's so slow to the hole that it closes up and it's a 3-4 yard gain, versus if I see Bucky, he accelerates through that, and that could be a 20+ yard gain if he's able to get through it fast enough. So I think it's too early to tell if this is a warning sign that the offense just isn't going to produce like it did last season. And, not having Evans, probably Chris Godwin's not going to be anywhere near what he was to start the season last year, that form that he was at to start 2024. McMillan's a mystery. He's still in a neck brace. Who knows if he's coming. Again, I think it's a little too early to tell. We'll see how some of these players, if they can get healthy, especially like Bucky, Godwin, Gadecki is a big one. Getting him back to establish the right tackle. And if Baker can get some rest and get a little healthier, so he can play with a little more confidence, we'll see. I think they'll find a way to make it work. I think the Grizzard and the offensive staff is too smart to kind of try the same shit over and over again, even though they did that here at the goal line over and over again. But you got the bye week to kind of figure it out too. So we'll see. But yeah, the offense gonna have to play better if we're hoping to win some of these games against better opponents.
Yeah, I think Bucky is the big missing piece. To your point, Bryce, Rashad is slow getting to the hole, and even if the hole is collapsing, he can't change direction the way Bucky can. Like Bucky gives you both options. Like he can explode through the hole, and if it's not there, he can make a jump cut and find another lane. He's just a much more dynamic runner. And on swing passes, I mean, hell, he'll go out and run a route, out wide. Like he's just such a dynamic playmaker. I think it gives opposing defenses like a big advantage not having to account for him. I will say I'm starting to be a little critical of the play calling, aside from those dumb snaps doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome at the one. It just seems uninspired a lot throughout the game. The early play calls, especially, like that's when I'm expecting to see your best. Those are scripted plays. You've been practicing this exact sequence all week. I expect it to come out and look sharp. It hasn't. I don't know if they've run out of gas a little bit from a play calling perspective, if maybe they've burned through some material and, opposing teams are smart and they've maybe caught on and maybe we're tipping our hand. I don't know. I know the play calling from the offensive side of the ball has been, in my opinion, lackluster. And I think all of the above as far as like injuries. I think it's just compounding. I just think the offense needs a break. I think they need a reset. Hopefully we can get some pieces back and hopefully they can get into the room and kind of draw some things up, take advantage of the pieces we have. But it's not working. And I do think Baker is nursing some injury because the ball is flying out of his hand.
He's not able to get through the ball.
It's just not as accurate or like as zip as it usually is.
It's all back heel shit. He's just trying to force it. It just doesn't look good. So hopefully he can get a break. That'd be nice.
It's interesting. I found the information here. It's Charlie Heck, who has rated as the 74th or 75th run blocker, overall grade, pass blocker. This guy is a problem. We need to get him off the team. He is an absolute disaster. He's the worst offensive lineman in the NFL.
He's backup. but I'm saying he's playing because we have to play him because the starter is injured. He's out.
Well, then we have to find somebody better.
We do have somebody better if he just gets healthy.
If he gets healthy, that's what the trade deadline is for. Go get somebody.
Okay. Maybe they'll address some of this stuff in the trade deadline. I would say to your point, though, Zach, about the play calling, I'm like, I wonder if it's a little bit of stubbornness on Grizzard's part. Like, hey, the game plan in Detroit was we're going to attack the secondary because they're all backups. It's not working. Oh, well, we'll stick to the game plan. This one was like the opposite. Like, we didn't run the ball enough in Detroit. We're really going to run the ball this time. So it was just handoff, 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 handoff. And it wasn't really effective. So you'd like to see, and I don't know, like if you're not able to if you're not balanced, I don't think you're ever going to have a good offensive attack. If you can't run the ball, so I don't know. It's just maybe I'm hoping that during the bye week they're able to kind of, hey, we know what players we're going to have. For a while, we need to scheme up some plays that can produce points.
But you remember, like when Canales was here, and Baker said after he left that Canales wouldn't let him audible. He wouldn't let him change the play. I don't know if is Baker not having the ability or the freedom to change the plays? Because we all see it's not working. We know, it's low confidence when the offense gets up to the line. I have low confidence that we're going to get more than 3 or 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, I don't know if right now they can do that because you've got so many backups playing that. Hey, we don't have our normal guys in there where I can audible and know, hey, Mike Evans, if I can this and we're running a hot route, I know where Mike Evans is going to be. Tez is a rookie and Cam is essentially a rookie. They don't really know. There isn't that continuity there, I think, to be able to audible. So it's like, hey, they know this play. Let's keep it simple. Run the play. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we're gonna have to figure
Yeah.
something out.
Well, why don't we
So
go?
I think it's
Doesn't Baker have a former teammate, tight end, that's up for trade in the league? Who am I thinking of?
Mark
Andrews,
Andrews.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that's an expensive trade for the position.
yeah.
does he wear gloves? You know what I mean?
He does wear gloves.
Well, I mean that sounds like our guy.
Immediate upgrade.
Can he block?
He
I
wears
mean,
glove.
if he's a
That's not what he's
blocking
known
tight
for.
end who wears gloves, pay
He's
him the
not a
money.
blocking tight
I don't know. The Ravens won on Sunday, so I doubt he's on the trading block anymore. Now that Lamar is probably going to come back,
end. Yeah.
and the Steelers lost, so like that division's still up for grabs.
But going back to the offense, I was going to say I saw somebody describe it as passive, and I think that's the amalgamation of what you said: injuries and maybe play calling and stubbornness and all of that. But that's what it looks like to me. We look like we're not attacking the game anymore. Like we're trying to figure out where we fit in the game rather than knowing what we're going to do. And I don't know if that's because we lost Mike and Bucky, and we are dealing with people who, like you said, Brace, may not know the playbook as in depth as they need to understand the hot reads and how Baker likes to operate it, or if it's just a learning curve for a new OC. But I thought that was a good describer of what I see on the field. It's just the offense is so passive. Like they don't know, they're not scheduled, they're not scripted.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good description. I feel like Tez is starting to get there. He's starting to be able to find an opening in the middle for Baker to have an option to throw to when things are breaking down right now. So
Yeah,
hopefully he continues to develop that rapport with Baker. I really do think though that this bye week will bring some life back to the offense as they've got some time to recover, get some fresh legs, especially for Ibuka. Hopefully, we'll know more about Godwin, Bucky, and Gadecki and their availability going forward after the bye. But either without that, I really do think like, okay, you've got some time to kind of think about how do we get this offense back up and running. And it all starts with Baker. So hopefully he gets some rest and find some of that confidence to throw it down the field like he was at the beginning of the season.
yeah, we got to stretch the field again. It's been so short the last 2 weeks. Well, considering the last 2 weeks, let's go to our next topic, which if you refs part two, I know we talked about this last week with the ref calling in Detroit. Almost more egregious in this one, especially I think we're all agreement on the one play where the whistle blew, so it got spotted down. That should be a touchdown because, in my mind, I'm thinking back to Detroit where even though you're challenging something and it's not a part of what the challenge is, you have every right to overturn any part of the play at that point. Why can't you do the same on a review where you clearly see people running with the play and no whistle being blown by a ref? The ref has been the refing has been quite lopsided in my opinion. Yeah, the last 2 weeks.
Even the line judge is running down the sideline.
The guy who's right there is looking at the ball, running with the play.
The explanation made no sense. Like, and then the pool reporters asked them about it after the game. They're like, "So it was erroneous whistle? Yeah. Where did the whistle come from? The ref on the other sideline, and everybody heard it. Yeah." And then you watch the play. It was also weird too. Like the NFL for some reason cut off that play before he scores a touchdown, trying to not show the fact that hey, no whistle was ever blown on that play. There's really no great explanation, and we can get into conspiracy theories here about if Vegas is dictating some of these calls, but I don't know, man. It's been awful to always be on the bad side of those calls. I don't feel like we ever get one of our calls to go our way. I don't know.
I've said, on this show before, and I've mentioned it to you guys. I think the fact that the league can profit from the sports betting apps is the issue. So the league has a financial incentive for the sports betting apps to make money. and that's the issue. It's not that you can bet on the game; it's that they're essentially sponsoring the NFL at this point through their ads. They're paying for naming rights on stadiums, and they're doing this in every league. And so they obviously they just arrested all these basketball coaches and players, and there's other there's other players that they're looking into. It's not unreasonable to think that these refs are gambling as well, and they wouldn't be the first refs to do it. And so I do not think that at a minimum the league should be able to run ads sponsored by these betting apps. Like DraftKings should not be able to have naming rights on a stadium. That that just doesn't work for me.
Well, it's also like there's a big conflict with ESPN because ESPN literally owns a piece or is invested in the NFL, and ESPN has a sports book. So like there's conflict because NFL and ESPN are in bed together financially, and one of them owns a sports book. So like that's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way that ESPN has a sports book that they own and operate, or I guess they license their name to the actual casino, but regardless,
They were,
there's
and then I saw a thing. I think it was on Reddit where they were having a discussion on ESPN about the scandal in the NBA, and their sports betting ticker was on the bottom, and then they slowly pulled it off the screen, and there's just a blank ticker on the bottom. I I don't know what they expected when they legalized this kind of sports gambling, and then allowed the players to bet, and then they allowed the coaches to bet, and then they allowed. I mean, everybody's allowed to bet, and there's no way to stop it.
well, they're not allowed to bet on football. They
Yeah,
they
I
can
mean,
bet on other sports. They can't bet on football, and they can't do any betting on league property. Like once they turn into $1 place, and they have geofencing, like the sports books monitor every player that has an account or like known like people around them. Like they've got tabs on all that. And once they're on NFL property, any bets that are placed, even if it's on fucking highlight, that gets flagged. That's Jameson Williams, right? He got suspended for placing a bet on another sport while he was at the facility. Like they have controls in place and they like ding players, but from a refing perspective, I don't know. I mean, they don't. The refs aren't full time. That's stupid. They're part time employees. They're not really good at their job. I don't think they're trained adequately, and there's a lot of money at hand, at play every second of a game. And so I don't know if there's
well,
necessarily someone who's compromised, but they're just
I
ill-equipped.
just hate the inconsistency with all the new um, replay reviews that they have. Like in the Sunday Night Football game, there was one where the guy caught it with 2 feet down, makes a move, and then the ball falls out, and they rule it incomplete. And Pittsburgh didn't have any challenges left, so they couldn't challenge it. But then all of a sudden they go replay and like, oh, with replay assistance, we were able to clearly see that he got 2 feet down and made a football move. This is a touchdown. Like, why can't you just apply that to every single scenario then? If you realize that no whistle was blown, okay, they made a mistake. There clearly wasn't a whistle blown. Touchdown Tampa Bay. Like, it's just the inconsistency with the rules. And if you're like, well, they blew a whistle, can't like, then like, okay, that might be the rule, but like, no whistle was blown. And if it's clear evidence that you don't hear a freaking whistle, then just overturn the call to what's correct. It's just inconsistent throughout the whole league about how, like, and it's all confusing to everybody. Like, it makes no sense. So it's almost kind of like the balls and strikes with the automatic ball strike thing for baseball, where the umpires are so against it because it's like gonna impact their ability to make a living, I guess. But at the end of the day, you just want to get the call right, and we shouldn't have these calls impacting games. It didn't. Fortunately, didn't have a great like a super big impact on the game, but it was a 10-point swing. They went, we get the ball, we fumble it after we couldn't do crap on offense, and then they score a field goal with time, no time remaining in the second half. So it could have had an impact on the game. So I don't know. It's they just got to find a way to make it more consistent. And if that means every play is able to be reviewed, it should be.
I'm convinced Cam Scatabo doesn't get injured if the fumble is upheld during the Philly Giants game.
Oh, that was an awful call too. The tush push fumble, that wasn't a fumble. There was no whistle blown on that one either.
Nope.
Yeah. I hate that's a pet peeve of mine is like the wait like the pushing of the pile and then waiting for the whistle to blow, like that forward momentum. I feel like that's so offensive focused now. Like we'll wait 5 seconds for the offense to get a little yard push, but the defense got to hold them for like 5 seconds at 1 yard.
Going backwards, the whistles blow.
Oh, I've said before, forward progress is the worst rule that was ever invented.
Oh, it's so.
And if you take the opposite of that, if I'm dragging a motherfucker backwards, no, that's not. We're gonna blow that. No, he's like 10 yards up the field. Don't worry about that. So the defense gets screwed because if the defense did that to a runner, they're gonna blow that whistle. But the offense just gets to go forever. In college, it's like so bad. It's like
Oh my God.
in college.
They need to outlaw the tush push. I think it just causes way too much controversy. The referees don't know how to ref it. They can't. Finally, they called a false start on Philly on the first time ever running that play earlier in the game, and then with that, I mean, he's not down. They're still pushing. He gets stripped of the ball. I just don't know how. Like, you can't give every single advantage to the offensive team or the offense on that play. It's like if you're going to run it and you're going to be stuck on a pile and people are going to go for the ball, then they have every right to try to strip the ball from you. I mean, it's not football if that's the case. Then it's just, you might as well go ahead and mark a first down for them because it's pointless to even try to play defense then.
Yeah, we should just round up. If the AWJ interception stands, then that also should have been a fumble in the Philly game. If you can rip the ball away and he's not down, then it shouldn't matter.
Well, yeah, ask Kate Otten from last week. I mean,
Yeah.
the ball can get taken from you.
I think that you should be able to review a forward progress or a blown whistle. Like, it shouldn't automatically be that's the end of the play. That makes no sense. I mean, like, it. If you're gonna, I don't know.
Like I said, worst rule in football.
He tried to challenge it, but I explained it to him and let him pick the challenge flag up. I thought back in the day, if you threw a challenge flag and you couldn't challenge it or you didn't have any left, that was
you got penalized. Yeah.
Penalty. Not like, I
explained
it to him. Explain that.
I saw someone online say, like Dable has to throw that because the ref needs to get in front of that crowd and explain that shitty call they just made to a stadium full of people.
I thought Dable was going to throw his headset at them.
Oh my God. He looked like anger from Inside Out, bro.
Yeah.
He looked like me throwing my hat at the TV after that AWJ non-touchdown call.
Oh, what did the
That was
do?
egregious.
Don't throw things at TVs.
Yeah. I feel like my rub with the whole reffing is, like the replays. That's where I really don't like it. It's the ruling is supposed to be we want to be more objective, but the application of the objective rule is so subjective to whoever wants to run it. And that's just like in this game particularly, that can be, like you said, Bryce, a 10-point swing, which is ridiculous.
They should write the rules the way hockey does, because like hockey's rule book allows for subjectivity. It allows for like referee interpretation. They don't. Yeah. They write it in the black and white rule book, and then they let the referees put their own spin on it and apply the rules how they see fit.
I just don't understand the explanation either. Like it was a line judge all the way on the other side of the field that inadvertently blew a whistle. Like, what? Why? Why would he, where is he at any point going to know what the hell?
You should be able to go to the ref and be like, why did you blow the whistle? Yeah.
Why can't the ref be why, you have no impact you can't see shit on this play. Like, your whistle means nothing because you have no idea if the runner's down or not because you're 40 fucking yards away. Like, it makes no sense.
All the players are running. Like, I don't know what other video evidence you need other than, look, everybody is playing.
That was a touchdown. Yeah, you didn't hear the Saints fan being like, oh, they're like, yeah, that's clearly a fumble. Like, everybody knew it was a touchdown.
Yeah, it is what it is. Hands up, John. Hands up. Now, what are you gonna do?
At the end of that
All
game,
right.
the crowd was so quiet too. Like the AWJ pick, you could hear a pin drop. Like nobody gave a
Oh,
shit. It was like
nobody did.
Nicole was watching the game with me. She was like, no one even reacted to that. I was like, yeah, the game's over.
The guy like stood up with the 6 jersey, like, oh yeah, he's finally in. That happens, and he was like, "This right back."
Yeah, he's like, I'm 5 steps ahead of you. I knew he was coming in.
I knew he was gonna play today.
That was hilarious. All right. Let's move forward. Let's move into the bias for our next topic. The Bucs hit the bye week 6-2. Like I said previously, that's one of the best records we've had, and it joins only 4 teams previously in Buccaneers franchise history to do that. All very good teams. So, as we head into it, I want one key from you guys each. What you want the Bucs to focus on. I know we've touched on a couple of things like offense. Anything else that you guys can think of? What do the Bucs need to do to keep momentum and put even more distance in between the NFC South and ourselves?
Who wants to go first?
Who wants to take dibs on getting healthy?
Oh, I'll take this.
No. Healthy. Jesus, everybody knows getting healthy. What we need to do is get our swagger back. We need a little offensive swagger. We need to feel good as a team and not just Baker chirping at people. We need everybody feeling good. Because if the defense is going to play like that, the offense has to step up. If we can get even a fraction of that defense every week playing like that, then the offense has to show out. We need to be enjoying ourselves. We need to be putting up points. That's what we need to find. In this bye week, we need to meditate and find a little bit of swagger.
Some motion, as the kids say. Yeah.
What the shirt that Baker was wearing?
Yeah, God forbid.
Vito was wearing of Baker. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a
Gen
Z saying.
motion. You gotta get on TikTok, man.
Yeah, I guess my key for the bye and kind of the team to continue this special season would be just remain focused on the game at hand. It's a long season. I think Baker had mentioned that we still got half a season to go. Your goals have not been achieved yet, so don't lose sight of that. Yeah, we're 6-2. The division's not great. We have pretty commanding control of the NFC South, but I think we had bigger plans this season than winning the NFC South for a 5th straight year. You got to start there, but the ultimate goal was to reach the Super Bowl. And if the team's going to achieve that, I think they need to make sure they're prepared for every single game they play. And obviously we've touched on with some of the players coming back and getting healthy. That will only help, but I'm with John. I think Baker. I want to see that swagger back with Baker, where he's letting it loose and stretching the field, and we're able to score 20 plus points a game. If the defense can play like it did against New Orleans, again, New Orleans is not a great team, but as long as they are able to create havoc, win the turnover battles, which they've been doing all season, basically. There's only been a couple. Even with Detroit, I think the turnover margin was 0. So as long as you keep winning the turnover battles, I think we have a great chance to really make this a special season and to vie for that first seed or first overall seed and first round bye in the playoffs. Next 3 games will be telling. That's the next tough stretch for us. We'll touch on that here in a sec, but that's my key.
Yeah, I like that. I was going to go with those next 3 games, like you said, very important. They look like the roughest part of our schedule going forward. And I like what you said, too. Take it one game at a time. Halfway done. You got 9 games left. Take the opportunity to rest yourself up, do what you need to do right by your body, get ready for it. Just keep – I hope the defense keeps doing what it does, generating pressure, getting turnovers. That's really, I think, the key that's going to help us keep games close when the offense is struggling. Because I can't, I like the offense to get on schedule, but I don't know if the player personnel is going to be available to us to really be a next level offense like we're used to. So if the defense can keep generating turnovers and getting quick outs and putting pressure on quarterbacks, I think that's going to be key for us, especially these next 3 games, as we look to make a push for the playoffs.
Okay, well, basically everything's been said, but what I'll say, I hope these guys spend time with their family. I hope they relax. I hope they go get a haircut, do some shopping. Go to the movies, unplug for a bit. It's a long ass season. We're very battered and bruised. Just rest. Just like get some relaxation in, because hopefully we're playing deep into January, if not February. So take a rest and you know enjoy Halloween. Go trick or treating with your kids. That fun stuff. Have a good time, boys.
Enjoy yourself. I like that. All right,
Yep.
Zach, since you didn't get anything new to say, how about you start us with the second half? Hot takes for the second half of the season. Got 9 games left.
Sean Tucker will average 50 yards a game every game. No. Hot takes. I don't know. I mean, I like not going first because then I can kind of dodge and weave, like find the gaps in everyone else's analysis. But
I do expect Sean Tucker to have a big second half of the season.
Take all your points, and you have to resort to, I hope everyone loves their family and go. That's a
I
nice
stand by that
fresh
point, though.
fall Halloween.
I think what you think they shouldn't go trick or treating? I think it's a good.
I absolutely hope they go trick or treating.
All right. All right. I'll do a hot take. The Bucs will win the NFC South.
That's
Hot
not
take.
okay.
Super steaming.
It's a good one. You take it.
Nah, you would. You would bet on that.
Mike will get 1,000 yards this season. All right, now we've
That's
got to be
super
polar
hot.
opposite.
Yeah,
that
that's
one's
scalding.
Yeah.
That's reckless hot.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, the Bucs will win 3/4 or better of the remaining games.
Okay, so that's like 7 games, 7 out of 9.
And 6 and a fraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, my hot take was going to be something similar, which is that I believe the Bucs go undefeated at home for the remainder of the season. We've got 5 home games left, 4 on the road left. I think we take care of New England after the bye. We'll be rested. They'll be coming off a couple back-to-back games against. I think they play the Falcons right before they play us. So hopefully they'll win that. They'll be confident and they get their ass kicked in Tampa. Then the rest of the home games, it's like Arizona, Saints, Falcons on Thursday Night Football. I think we get revenge on that game from last season's Thursday night, disaster meltdown in Atlanta, and then we end with the home game in Carolina, and so that's I think we win all those games. We'll go ahead and take care of business on a couple of those road games, and we'll finish 12-5.
Nice.
And win the NFC South.
And win the NFC South.
Okay, all right.
You know what? I'm gonna do my hot take before John has a chance. The Bucs will be the number 1 seed in the NFC. So not just the NFC South, but win the NFC. Everybody's established here. We got a few 6-2 teams like the Eagles who have a tiebreaker over us. Yes, I know. But as we've said, this back half of the schedule lightens up a little bit. And from what it looks like, I do like our chances in some of these next 3 games. Those are the roughest that we have. If we can get by them, maybe at 2-1, I really like the back end of the schedule. So maybe it shapes up that the Bucs can get not just home field advantage, but that coveted first week bye for the playoffs. Bucs number 1, baby.
Spicy.
I've also got the Bucs winning the NFC. I have us going 8-1 on the back half of the season. Yeah, and that's not even my hot take. My hot take is not only will Baker Mayfield win the MVP this year, but Chris Godwin's second half of this season is going to blow people's minds. He's going to come back and play out of his mind because Emeka Egbuka is going to get double covered. That's my hot take. Chris Godwin's coming back and going in. I'm thinking several multi-touchdown games.
He could win
Spicy.
comeback player of the year then, right? Because he's coming off an injury.
Yeah. Could.
It's like a double comeback. Comeback
That
from
would be.
last year and the first half of this year.
Can you imagine having the MVP and the comeback player of the year?
And the number 1 overall seed.
I would say
Ooh.
It's coming up Buccaneers, baby.
it's a hell of a season.
Yeah.
And winning the NFC South.
Yeah, well, that's key. Yeah. Thank
You
you
are
to all the
you are
NFC South
mild in the
teams.
hot sauce rotation here.
You got to put butter in the hot sauce sometimes.
The one of my favorite stats from the past week: the Bucs outscored the NFC South 23-22. Great.
Nice.
Now, you know what's? Sorry.
Oh no! So I think they were saying like the point differential for the NFC South was like minus 70 something. I forget.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's what us beating to say. Yeah.
We've only lost 2. It's not on us at all. That's crazy. That's a huge number.
Yeah.
It was bad. I mean, the Dolphins took it to Atlanta.
Yeah, they did. That looked rough.
Well,
you know what else?
That's what
get popped in the face, right?
Yes. Pop an eye out.
Well, you know what else looked bad was our Buc Bro bets from last week. Got another 0 for 4. For those of you who aren't with us, we do a series of Buc bets before the game every Sunday or Monday. We put those bets on TikTok or Instagram. So if you want to follow along, go to @BucBros11 on TikTok, BucBrosTB on Instagram. Our bets from last game: Baker 3 touchdowns, Tez first touchdown, and Mecca anytime touchdown, and the Bucs over 25.5. So close on that last one, but no cigar. 0 for 4.
In spirit, we hit the team total if the game is officiated.
If it's yes, yeah.
We would have had both if Mika could have just held on to that one that he had in the end zone there.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, oh, we're going to hit it. And then all of a sudden, no.
Yeah,
No.
the throw, Baker.
That would have been big because I would have won one of my other fancy matchups that I lost by like less than a point. So, oh well.
Well, better luck next week, or I guess I should say 2 weeks, because we do not play next week. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this review episode. Bucs on a bye, which means your Buc Bros are on a bye. Our preview episode will be out not this week, but next Wednesday for our game against the Patriots coming week 10. So
big matchup. They're 6-2 as well.
6-2. Vrabel's got them going. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. It'll be on this channel Wednesday next week. But for now, we're going to wish you guys good bye week. Just like the Buccaneers, please enjoy your families, enjoy your days, enjoy Halloween. We will be back with you next week to preview the game. For now, send it with a big Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. Happy Halloween, everybody.